When we talk about what a trailblazer is, it's usually associated with the words pathfinder, pioneer, or vanguard. So how about we add change agent to that? Welcome to TrailBlazerz Radio, a unique podcast platform that speaks about a myriad of subjects. We are not afraid of opening closed doors, and we always tell it like it is, period. We are accessible on various social media platforms such as YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. We're also accessible on various streaming audio platforms such as Spotify, Google Podcasts, and so much more. It is our mission to ensure that you are educated, entertained, and edified. And we thank you for tuning in to us. Hey, what's going on? Good Wednesday evening to everybody. Welcome to TrailBlazerz. Welcome to this special edition of TrailBlazerz Radio. I am your host, Mr. Frederick B. Thank you so very much for tuning in tonight. Look, we got a great show for you guys tonight. But before we even get into all that, man, let me just get some things out of the way, man. First and foremost, thank you guys for continuing to like and follow us and share our platform on our various social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. We're also on Clapper. We're also on Rumble. So check us out on those platforms as well. We thank you guys so very much for just doing your due diligence and taking a look at our content, and then if it's relevant and making sure that it resonates with you, and then also following us and subscribing to us and hitting that bell notification to let you know whenever we come back on, and when we go live. So we appreciate you for very much. If you guys missed last night's show with LHG, you guys missed a great one. In my feelings about my feelings, man, that was a powerful show last night. So if you guys want to stay on top of content such as my sis LHG, such as T-Wade, Kaisa Rodriguez, and myself, make sure you follow us on our various social media platforms. Again, we're available on Facebook, Instagram. We also have a YouTube channel. We also have a Rumble channel. We're on TikTok, and we're also on Clapper. So follow us on all our various social media platforms, so that way you can be informed about when we go live or when we post content. And we thank you guys for just liking and sharing our content. So now, with that out of the way, let me give introduction to the young lady of the hour that I have right now, man. Again, like I said, this is a special edition, and I am excited to have this young lady come in and talk to us. But before I do that, man, let me just give you guys a little bit of introduction to this lady. So first and foremost, this young lady hails from Carson, California. She's been holding her craft since the tender age of 11, and she's been gracing stages since 13. She's been molded from an early age to have an indelible mark on the music industry. She draws profound influence from icons like Michael Jackson and Tupac Shakur. Through her raw and compelling lyrics, she masterfully sketches the contours of experiences and observation, inviting listeners into the world as she sees it. This versatile talent has shared stages with giants like Nipsey Hussle, T.I., Warren G, Sugar Free, and the Black Eyed Peas. And she's also shared with her West Coast contemporaries, such as YG, RJ, and Joe Moses. Man, she's a dynamic artist. And one of the other things that she also done in 2020, and we're going to talk about this, her music has debuted on TV. Her music debuted on TV music placement on HBO's acclaimed series Insecure Season 4, which was created by Issa Rae. She also has had her music on an array of other shows, from sporting highlights, including House of Ho, MLB and NHL highlights, Baddies West, Bad Boys Club, All American, and other notable placements. And she also has a notable music placement in the 2004 Netflix show, Netflix's Infamy. So, without further delay, let me bring this young lady up on the stage right now. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing to some and reintroducing to others, please welcome Carson, California's own Miss P.Y.T.
Hey y'all.
Hey, what's going on? How are you?
I'm good. California, sunshine, it's
Hey,
good.
West, West Coast dreaming. I get it.
West Coast. How about
So,
yourself?
hey, enjoying the southern heat, and even though it was a lot milder than it has been in a while, which is good, and I'm
Okay.
glad for that. So, Carson, California, man.
Yes.
So, I gotta. So, I'm most definitely gonna ask this first thing right here. You've been doing this for a while now,
Yes.
since 11 years old, and the first time you graced the stage was 13. I mean, was this something that you knew you wanted to do from birth, or was it just kind of something that you kind of eased your way into?
For myself, it was kind of something that my mom, I don't want to say she pushed me into it, but at first for me it was just like a writing thing. I
Mm,
just like to write my thoughts out, and then I like to write songs and stuff like that. And then once she like realized what I was doing, like I spent a lot of time in my room, she seen my journals and she's like, "Okay, you write, like you're writing songs and stuff." Then she kind of pushed me into doing it. But not a bad thing, but I just knew that I was going to write. Like I love to write, and then the writing turned into rapping, and then performing, and then it was just like, okay, this is what I want to do.
man, see, excuse me. Like I said, you've been doing it since you were 13, so you're already. I consider you. I mean, you've been doing it since you're 13, and whatever
Yeah,
age you are now, I mean, you can probably consider it a seasoned pro at this particular point in time.
yeah.
Was there any point there where you felt like you weren't able, or you weren't built to do this?
I would say never in the past. I've always been confident in my ability to do what I do. And I would say that feelings like that, and I'll be truthful, feelings like that haven't started happening until the present.
Wow.
Um, yeah. And it's mainly just because of the type of music sometimes that they want you to do, the image that they may want you to have. And sometimes you try to explain, well, I got my own, and it's always, well, what they're doing and what they're doing. At first, for me, even when people would do that, it kind of was like, okay, whatever. Like, I just found like little avenues to kind of push through. So it didn't really bother me. But now it's like, okay, yeah, I can say that those feelings haven't started until like now.
How do you fight that? How do you fight through that? Knowing that what you're doing, you're you're unique in what you do as far as being a rapper is concerned, but you're being pushed in this direction to follow, status quo, or follow what everybody else is doing. How do you fight that?
Prayer. Seriously, prayer. And basically just staying, like, I'm not on social media. I haven't
Right.
been on social media for a couple months. I'm not gonna lie. Because even that gets to you. Sometimes you
Mm,
don't, like sometimes you forget that a lot of that is a facade. A lot of that is a character. A lot of
right.
that is they don't want you to see so much, of course, of them struggling or actually going through things like that because it's not appealing. It's appealing if you see the money, you see the twerking, you see the, I guess, accolades or whatever. And sometimes, when you see that stuff, you start to think, well, my look at my reality, and I had to get off of social media, and I just really had to, I guess, hone in to myself,
Mm,
remember who I am, remember the artist that I am, remember and appreciate all the things that I have accomplished and the things that I'm accomplishing now and the things that
mm,
are soon to come, you know.
yes.
and stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. You know how that saying goes.
Oh yeah, because it and the moment you keep up with the Joneses, you will go flat broke.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Cause and I just I like how you said that because because folks want you to try to want to go with status quo. They want you to try to go with the sexy reds and the Meg the Stallions and the Cardi B's and the Nicki Minaj's and sometimes it's just not. I know for a lot of women, that's a lot of female rappers that are trying to put themselves in this industry. That's that's usually the way to go because let's just call a spade a spade. Sex sells, right? But whatever happened to integrity, whatever happened to just being there just based up on raw talent, you know, based up on the talent of your pen, or based upon the talent of or your delivery and your charisma or your stage presence. I mean, those things count for something. They should count for something, right?
Yeah, they should. Like, well, everything that you're saying, I remember, like, I believe it was Source Magazine. I used to buy Source Magazine because I always wanted to see how many mics, they gave an album or a mixtape. Like, what was the rating on someone's single? And they really gave feedback. And it made artists, in my opinion, really work for that. Like, I remember when Lil Kim's, what was it, The Naked Truth, I believe.
Yeah,
I think she got all five mics, and it was a big deal. Number one, because she's a female artist. Number two, it's like, she the delivery, what she's writing about, her truth, the reality, of what she's going through, going to court, going to jail, yada yada yada. But I agree, like it should be off of talent and skill, but I guess the talent now is, the gimmicks. So I mean,
and
you gotta do what you gotta do.
gimmick. But I mean, but gimmicks on, but again, I think we both can agree that gimmicks only last for a certain amount of time.
Yes,
Gimmicks
sir.
gimmicks have a shelf life,
Mm-hmm.
but for me, true skill and talent doesn't have a shelf life, you
Yeah.
know. And as you can tell with the gray hair on my face, again, I grew up I'm a 70s baby that grew up in the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah.
So I was exposed to female MCs of the like of MC Light, Queen Latifah,
Mhm.
Bahamadia, um, Roxanne Shante,
Mhm.
those women. And then on top of that, even being exposed to like ladies like Mia X and then other women, other female MCs. I'm like, these ladies can actually go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I'm and I guess I'll say it's wrong for me to compare apples to oranges because I guess if I could put one of those ladies up against a Mia X or a Queen Latifah or MC Light, it would really be no comparison.
Yeah.
At least in my book, it wouldn't be.
I
Because
can.
and then I look at that as like, dang, that's I mean, it wouldn't be hard for me to judge that way, but I also look at it as being a tough place for a lot of I looked at it in the 90s, it was easy for women to be respected upon their skills,
Mhm.
their lyrical prowess, what their delivery and things of that nature. But now it's like, all you got is a body, and all you doing is twerking. I mean, really?
Yeah.
What's that? I mean,
And it's I get it, as far as the my body, my choice, my movement, whatever you want to call it, I get it. It's just that the talent.
mhm,
That's the only thing, and I think that they try to deflect all the time, and say, oh, y'all talking about the past. It's not about the past, it's just about talent. It's just really about skill. And if your skill is really just bending over twerking and you're just rhyming words like Mother Goose, it's like, what's the point? Yeah, you're getting your streams, but as we've been seeing recently and we've been knowing for years, you got bots. People are boosting numbers with bots. So are you really getting the streams that you're getting? It's just it's a lot these days I feel like that goes into the music industry. um it's different. It is, it's totally different now. It really was skill. I remember when I was doing mixtapes and printing up mixtapes, and it was about showing that you can actually get out in the street and sell, you know, and really keeping tabs on that. Now it's just like I said, you kind of can upload your song to anything. Boom, I want 1 million streams, and if they find out, they find out. If they don't, hey, I made
Whatever,
it.
whatever
Yeah.
happened to whatever happened to the days of Too Short selling tapes out the trunk of his car.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, you're from Carson, California, and I lived on the West Coast for about 7 years. So I'm kind of sort of familiar with certain aspects of the West Coast hip hop scene.
Yeah.
Been a minute since I've been around, but I noticed that it's a lot different than it would be for any place else because it doesn't because like here in Atlanta, it's basically just based here right there in Atlanta, but in California, you have cities like Carson, San Diego, Los Angeles, Sacramento, and all those other places. And each scene to me is different. I've seen different instances of each city scene. I've been to Sacramento. I've seen their scene is a lot different than, say, for instance, San Diego or Los Angeles. And I'm like, and I'm trying to and I was always trying to wonder what that's all about. But then I began to understand, like, well, nah, it's not about, and I had to learn it's not about gangbang politics. It's just about different vibes and different flavors. So tell me a little bit about the Carson, California's hip hop scene. What flavor is it on? What flavor is it on? What's it about?
Well, most people know Carson for Ray J and Brandy. When
Right,
people hear, Carson's music scene, those are the first people. Those are, just be real. Those are the biggest people. Who's bigger, than Brandy? She.
right,
So those are the first people that you hear of initially. You have to. It's a lot of Carson artists. So I don't want to say like you have to like dig through the crates or nothing like that, but you would have to look, and I feel like with Carson artists, from the artists that I know, from the artists that I've come across that are from Carson, I would say that our vibe is like we got a story to tell. We've gone through some things. A lot of people think that Carson is just you grow up bougie or something like that. Like they give you that title, and it's not
mhm,
that. People really do go through things. People do have bad childhoods, or people do have stories of whatever it is that they had to go through in school or whatever. Like people here have a story. So I feel like we're storytellers. We just have a different story to tell. No,
indeed.
seriously, like, no, it may not be helicopters every night. No, it may not be people starving or talking about they got to borrow sugar all the time. It may not be like that. But we, in essence, we still have a story to tell. um I would say that we're fun. A lot of Carson music that I hear is like fun, party. Not so much like um not so much like set tripping, you know it's just like just having a good time. Not so much twerking music. It's
Right.
just really just having a good time. That's crazy. Yeah. With the Carson scene, is just when they're doing party music, it's really just about having fun. They're just telling the story still about how the function was, or what they got popping, or they pull up to the what is it, the little takeover or whatever, the cars racing, descriptive. But I would say that Carson, like I said, we got a story to tell. We got a fun vibe. We have a good time, but at the same time, it goes down. You'll find those artists that rap about the stuff that goes on after dark. They tell those
Mhm.
stories of it get popping sometimes. Sometimes that you gotta watch your back. you know. So yeah.
That's pretty good scene right there. I like that. Party music, but also you do have the storytellers, and I think every city or every major area has your storytellers, and
Yeah.
I think those are the ones that those are the ones that I latch on to, because for me, I think, and consider me old school again, but when I think about the West Coast hip hop scene, and I'm thinking more or less without 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 naming cities or anything of that nature. When I think about the West Coast hip hop scene, I think about guys like Ice Cube, Mac 10, Dub C, but I also put guys like Mac Mall, um, Looney Coleon, Killer Tay, J.O. Felony, um, Mozzie, Prezi, all those guys. So when I think about West Coast, I don't think about just one city. I think about where all these guys come from. Because I started listening to Mozzie um, around 2020, and I was like, "Damn, this dude's a story. This dude's a damn storyteller." I mean,
Yeah, he is.
even though in even though some of the stuff is laced with gangbang politics, which is something for me I can personally overlook, or I can personally overlook or ignore, because for me it's about understanding where he's coming from, or what he's the story he's trying to tell, as opposed to trying to just hone in on just that part of it. And I'm like, damn, this dude's a storyteller. And what really made me latch on to him, um, I think it was a song he did with Sally Rue, "Take It Up with God." I was like, oh my word. Okay, yeah, I'm locked in at that point. And for me, I've always had, because just because, and I lived in California for a while, but again, I've always been my heart has always been in that been on the West Coast vibe, because number one, it's a different type of storytelling, you know. And the question that I want to ask you is, when you think about the evolution, when you think about the evolution of West Coast hip hop from the days of NWA to now, and thinking about the artists that I just mentioned, even artists in your community, in your city, do you think that how big of an evolution do you think you guys have experienced? Or I won't even say evolution. How much I won't say evolution, because a lot of people don't listen to a lot of West Coast hip hop like that. And I've heard people say that West Coast hip hop was dead. I will say emphatically that that's wrong, because if you ain't heard, because I tell people, if you ain't heard stuff from Mozzie or some of these other cats around here, then you sleepwalking. But how much of an evolution do you think you guys have made from those humble beginnings with NWA to now?
Hmm.
It's a loaded question, I know, right?
Well, I would say now at this point, and I know, you know, at the end of the day, Drake is still great. But when Kendrick Lamar dropped Not Like Us,
Mm,
that was a rejuvenation. That was a recharge that the West Coast needed for people to stop doubting, I guess, the West Coast, for people to kind of pay attention again to the West Coast, because I'll keep it real. I myself, it got boring. It got boring.
mm,
When I came up in the 90s. I was a child, like I was little. I wasn't a teenager or nothing like that. But I remember, mainly like my brother would play like Tupac and he would play like Dog Pound, and I would hear
mm,
him playing like that type of stuff in his room. So I was curious. My mom, she played church music, but I was curious to hear, what they were talking about. And then, as I got older, it's like what you got the 2000s. Um, Snoop Dogg still dropping music. E40 is really, really, really popular.
mm,
At that point, Too Short is popular again. Then you got the jerk movement. The jerk movement was popping. You know, people with the skinny jeans, people didn't understand, you know, what was going on with that movement, and it was fun. It was fun. Like it was fun. It was like you would hear things that artists was recording in their rooms on the radio.
Mm,
Like literally these people, and I know it to be true. First of all, you can hear from the mix and master. You can hear from the quality. But
right.
these people were literally like when YG first came out with Tooted and Booted. If you listen to the original Tooted and Booted that made it to the radio, the quality is not the best, you know. But then when you listen to the version for real, when you listen to the version that came out on 106 and Park on the video, then you hear, okay, yeah, they got in that studio and cleaned it up. But I felt like at that time, people were looking at the West Coast again with that whole jerk movement. There was so many West Coast artists that were coming out. It was so much music that was hitting the radio. People were getting videos, like I said, on 106 and Park, like people were paying attention. And then I don't know what happened. Um, Tyga, you know, he was coming out, you know, he got signed to Young Money. People like, okay, the West Coast got something to talk about. And then I don't know what happened. It's like it started to be kind of a decline. It was people still coming out. You got Mozzie, you got people that was still coming out, but it's like people were doubting the West Coast and what
Mm,
they really could do. It was like, you know, we don't want to hear the same beats. We don't want to hear the same lyrics. Y'all wear the same stuff. Like y'all stuck in the 90s. Like y'all, nobody wants to hear y'all sound. And it's crazy because it's artists literally that we seen the last few years coming over here, you know, to get they sound or coming over here to get popping. But it's like people was counting us out. Now, like I said, because of Not Like Us, you can look at the numbers. You can look at the podcast. You can look at the conversations. You can even look at all the music that West Coast artists are putting out now. You know, in a way, flooding, because it's like people are looking. People are looking just because of that right there. It did something. It was just like a recharge. It was something that I feel like the West Coast needed. We're already known for beef. Let's be real.
right.
We're already known for that. Um, we're already known for, I guess, being combative. We're already known for coming at people. So when he did that, it's like, okay, not only did, you know, he do what the West Coast do, but he did it in a way to where he bullied. You know, that's something that the West Coast used to do back in the day, you know? So I feel like now maybe it's gonna get fun again, but I do feel like the last few years it was just the same. Sometimes it felt like the same artist, and it was keeping us stuck in a certain time period. And it's like it's time to move past that. It's too many good West Coast artists out here, too many cities. The IE area is starting to, you know, for the last few years, they've been getting buzz as far as Riverside area and stuff like that. They're getting big now. Everybody on the West Coast is starting to get, you know, their city's name out there. It's time to move past that era of the lowriders and all that. That's good and that's fine, but come on. We got some new people. We need some new blood.
I feel you on that one. And to be honest with you, I mean, again, signature sound. For me, the signature sound of the West Coast was a Dr. Dre beat. I think anybody who's any exactly anybody who's my age can would make that a synonym. When you think about West Coast, you think that's synonymous with a Dr. Dre beat. But then
Mhm,
again, for me, I've a I listen to producers like Battle Cat. I'm like, damn, that's
mhm,
different. And for me, and I know I'm saying this to be in agreement with you. There's a new sound when it comes to West Coast hip hop now. It's not those it's not the synth heavy stuff or the bass heavy stuff now. Even though every once in a while you may hear that. Not all the time, but not all the time though. Now it's more I've heard a lot of more up tempo stuff. I'm like, okay,
mhm,
they're going with the up tempo stuff now. Okay, cool. Let's see how they run it. And then I hear somebody like, oh damn, they ran it. And
mhm,
and I like and again, I'm agree with you again wholeheartedly with when Kendrick dropped They Not Like Us. I mean, I think it was a wake up call for. I think it more than just a rejuvenation. I think it was a wake up call for a lot of for everybody on that side of the map. That
Yeah.
hey, either evolve or stay behind,
Mm-hmm.
and and we have to evolve. You have to evolve as a musician. You have to evolve as an artist. I mean, you just can't do the same things all the time. I mean, the a good example of a good example that I can use that's pertinent for me was the group Outkast.
Yeah.
Every album they dropped, there was something different about it.
Yeah.
Whether it was, you know, Dre doing beats or whether it was live instruments, it was always something about it in the production values of it that made it so different and made it so appealing to people, you know. And then and again, you know, when we talk about female, we talk about and I'm not gonna call see, I'm used to calling an MC whether they're female or female.
Yeah.
You know, this thing about, you know, femcs, I mean, I could get with it, but I me again, me being an old school guy, I can't because the simple fact of the matter is whether you're male or female, if you have skills on the microphone and you got wordplay, I'm gonna call you an MC. Period. But if you spit Babylon, nah, I can't do that. I mean,
Yeah.
and I can't regulate. I can't get with that. However, like I said, there's some. I'm more of an old school guy, so I am gonna stick with Queen Laws and those guys. I mean, you on the other hand are beginning to be one of my favorite new artists actually. from
Thank you.
listening listening to both the songs that your your manager sent to me, and we're actually going to play one of them right now. This song is called 24, and once the song concludes, I want us to talk a little bit about that, but when we come back, I also want to kind of talk about how you came across this amazing opportunity to have your song, want to have your music played on a very popular HBO series.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to introduce this song to you guys. Matter of fact, I'm gonna have you introduce this song because yeah.
All
So
right. Well,
so do the honors.
all right. Well, y'all are tuned in to Trailblazers. You feel me? They call me P.Y.T. And we are about to drop my song, my single, 24. It is 2024. We all got the same 24. What you do with yours is your business. What I do with mine's, I'm going to go get it. Drop it.
Yes, ma'am.
24 hours. 24, 24 hours. 24. 24.
Pop a bottle, pop a squat, and hear the speaker speak. Manifesting my destiny, but I ain't here to preach. My granny told me education get you off these streets. I got distracted, fell down, then hop back on my feet. I used to eat ramen, bought boxes and boxes. All that I could afford, that minimum wage profit. Had it in my house, he was leeching, not helping. Could do better by myself, rather be single and selfish. Money started coming in, grinding all day hustling. I refuse a small percent, I won't make no rich. Label me a boss, don't you label me no. Focused on the dollars, leave wealth for my lineage. Thought I would stay down, but I rose up like a rose. Makeup, got my weight up, look at me and say goes. Out front with the lace front, say what I say and it goes. How you mad at me for living mine? We got the same 24. We got the same 24. 24. All you do is complain 24. 24. Do the most, get dough 24. 24. All my ladies keep bands 24. 24, 24, 24. 24. That lace go past 24. 24. In a race go fast 24. 24, 24, 24. 24.
24. 24 hours. 24. 24 hours. Get it. 24. 24. 24 hours.
Hey, roll a blunt, light it up. Let me talk my. Who else you know popping it? They got the sauce like this. Eating crab legs and shrimp with a boss. We in the wind taking wins and kinda lost in the bits. Where it's a trip, cause we was doing spectacular back when West B was stuffing speakers in the back of her whip, talking at house party. We kept the house party jumping. Wasn't nothing if it wasn't a CMSD function. And on that note, gotta say, rest in peace, Beezy though. Jacuzzi full of freaky shake some video. Now that I think about it, I was like 24 and had the 745 sitting on 24s. Whoa, I mean, you can check the credentials. Might have reached to make a beat just to show you that I'm official. Cause you so forgetful and I'm hard to forget. Actually, me and P.Y.T. hard as it gets. So what you mad for? We got the same 24.
All you do is complain 24. Do the most, get dough 24. All my ladies keep bands 24. 24. That lace go past 24. In a race go fast 24. 24. 24 hours. 24 hours to get it. 24 hours.
Yeah. Hello?
And I'm muted. Golly, I always forget to unmute my microphone. Look, what y'all know about that right there? That's hitting on some whole other vibes right there. If y'all ain't feeling that, I don't know what type of bones y'all got in y'all body, but God,
You
that
got
right
it.
that right there slaps for real.
Thank you.
And the what I like about the song is that it's not anything that's like negative. It doesn't speak about any negativity. It's really about doing what you have to do within the 24 hours that we're all given.
Yep.
And we all got the same 24 hours. And I like how you put that. We all got the same 24. So what are you gonna do with it? Is you gonna complain those 24 hours or you gonna go get it 24 hours? I love that song, man. Look,
Thank you.
that song already is gonna have consistent airplay in my headphones and in my phone. So
Thank you.
so trust and believe that's what that is. Look, that's on that. I mean, if I have microphones to give out for that song, I'm gonna get out on a solid 5 mics. Um,
Thank you.
who was who was the gentleman that did the second verse with you?
That's the homeboy. He's also a phenomenal artist from the West Coast, like a Q-Tip, J. Cole, Nas, lyrical type. His name is O'Shea. Yeah, O'Shea. At You Can Call Me Soap.
Mm,
UCANCALL. You can MESOAP. UCANCALLSOMESOAP. You can
I
call me soap.
I like that. I mean, and again, the flow is a solid, nice consistent flow, a nice solid. Look, I mean, and again, I'm an old school dude, but when wordplay and rhymes and lyricism come together, oh yeah,
Hmm.
we in the zone with that, and I love that, man. Again, I'm gonna, if I was on a Source magazine and I had heard that single, yeah, that's getting a solid 5 mics for real, up and down the
Thank you.
board. So, and that kind of leads me to something that I was thinking about. You mentioned that the West Coast had caught a bad rap for a long while because of the simple fact of the aggressiveness of how a lot of your contemporaries flow and things of that nature, but also with the gangbang politics.
Hmm.
And but you also mentioned that there's a rejuvenation of that when Kendrick Lamar dropped They're Not Like Us.
Hmm.
Now, the question that I'm going to ask is this: Do you think that song, along with songs like yours and other artists, do you think that's gonna help rebuild that kind of, I won't say bad rap. I won't say a bad reputation, because even there's some artists that we have down south that have given us a bad giving the South a bad reputation. But do you
Yeah,
think but do you think songs like yours and Kendrick's, or is that gonna be something is that gonna be the building blocks to help build that rep back up?
I
Or to
think so.
or should I say continue to build it back up?
I think so. Of course, my song is not as big as Kendrick's, but for anybody that heard it, I hope that you like it. And if you want to give it another listen, search They Call Me PYT 24. Video is out. But I think that it helps. Um, I do. I think that it's definitely, if it's not foundation, you keep building then until it is a foundation.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I mean, we had a signature sound, we had a signature look. We know what we're known for, and they not like us is basically saying, we take accountability. We understand what we're known for. We know what our vibe is, our style is, or what you guys think of us or whatever. But at the end of the day, y'all not like us.
Mhm.
And I want to say that I feel like we should embrace the fact that we're different. Everybody, every coast is different, from each other. But I think that we kind of we should embrace the fact that we are different, and we should want to expand on other people who are dropping music that are giving us a new sound or giving us a new platform or helping us build a new foundation. Add what you got to it. If everybody just add a brick, then we can easily rebuild. But I mean, if you just down talking it, or if you're not trying to add to it, then it's going to stay stagnant. It's going to stay where it's at.
Yeah, and you had in order for you to be in order for that to change, in order for that to move forward, you have to innovate. And I think
Hmm.
that's what I think that's one of the things that Kendrick did when he did that, when he dropped that song. But also, again, it's I believe it's going to be a combination of song songs like his, but also more songs like yours and other independent artists that independent artists that represent the made a lot of these cities on the West Coast. Because for me, the West Coast hip hop scene is a very, very it's a healthy but and a thriving scene, but it's also a very diverse scene. Diverse scene, and it's diverse from city to city. So
Hmm.
you're gonna be exposed to something different every city you go. Riverside's not gonna be like Carson. Carson's
Hmm.
not gonna be like San Diego. San Diego's not gonna be like LA. LA is not gonna be like Sacto or none of that or none of
Yeah.
those. And you're gonna see that each city you go. But and see that's the one thing that I like about it. I love the diversity of each city being something different. It's not like um here in Atlanta where everything is just amalgamated, boom, right here, right in the city. And
Yeah.
everybody's hailing from Atlanta, but everybody's hailing from Atlanta. And nobody like, geez, but now the now the one now and there's some other artists that are from other cities in the state of Georgia, but do you hear about them all? But do you hear about them like that? You
Yeah.
don't. You don't. Um, one of the more popular artists here that I've listened to in recent years was a group called Field Mob. They were from Albany,
Oh, okay.
and I'm like, oh damn, they're different. But then I got hooked. Like, okay, and it's a different sound, it's a different vibe, all those things. But that's why. But again, for me, that's what I like about the West Coast. It's so different because every city is going to offer you something new, and it's going to be a different experience sonically.
Yes.
And for me, it's all about that sonic experience. You know, it's more than just for me. Again, I'm an old head, and I'm always going to say that. For me, it's always about beats, rhymes, and life. I'm always going to hear the beat first, and then I'm going to hear the rhyme, and then I'm going to try to see where those two intersect and
Hmm.
how they impact me. But I do want to talk about something that I mentioned earlier in your introduction. You were able to have your music played on several different shows, several different programs, and to me that is a major accomplishment to
Thank you.
have, especially on a really really popular HBO series such as Insecure. How did that come about?
Man, shout out to my guy Matt. He was a producer on he was on Instagram, and he actually reached out to me one day, and I didn't know him prior to that. He just reached out to me and was like, "I've been checking your stuff out on Instagram, and I like your music. I like your flow, and I want to see if you're interested in making music for TV." So I asked him to send me some stuff. So he sent me some stuff. He did like the theme song for Kiki Palmer's show. I believe it was on, was it Nickelodeon?
Mm,
The Kiki VP show. And
I've heard
then
of that.
yeah. So her show, and then he produced for Tyga. He
Mm,
produced for a few people. So he sent me some links. I listened to it, and for me, I prayed about it. I pray about stuff. Um, I feel like I mess up when I don't pray about stuff before I act. That's when I mess up.
mm,
But I prayed about it, and I was like, all right, for sure. And I reached out to somebody that I was working with at the time, and I told them about the opportunity, and they kind of was like, "Oh, are you sure?" I think basically like things like that just don't happen. And I'm like, "Well, I'm going to do it anyway." And then they ended up hopping on board. Went to the studio, recorded 3 songs, and all 3 songs got purchased, and all 3 songs got placed, and all 3 songs got picked up, and they continue to get picked up for the rest of what that year, leading into the next year. Yeah, leading into the next year. So 2020 going into 2021. And then they kept asking me just to make new music, send in more music. And then from there, that's when other libraries contacted me and were like, we would like you to make music for our library. So that's how that all came about.
wow. And then, like I mentioned before, ladies and gentlemen, she has music on Insecure. Um, I think what I forgot the no Baddies Eat Baddies,
Yep,
House of
Bad Boys
Ho,
LA,
Bad Boys LA, House of Ho. And there was another one. The show's on the tip of
Major
my
Major League Baseball
ma-
highlights,
wow. So
hockey highlights,
man,
motocross.
she this lady's got music everywhere.
Yeah.
And to have a vast library of music out there that people can listen, that people will be able to catch on to and listen. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't be surprised the next Major League Baseball highlight or NHL highlight you listen to, her music's attached to her music attached to that.
Well, can I say something? Since
Sure.
we're talking about this, this is the first time I'm saying anything about it, but I actually just officially signed to my third library today. Um, Pink Shark Music. I just officially signed with them today, and they purchased some songs for me, and we will see where they're placed. So you guys just stay tuned. Follow me at they call me PYT. But yeah, new deal, new sync licenses, new music
Hmm.
placement, film, television shows. So get ready.
Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. That's what
Yeah.
I am talking about. That right there is what I'm saying. You know, it's the way, and what I look at it is it's all about right place, right time.
Yeah.
But it's also about being also about being a good steward over yourself and over the things that you do, and know that you know, and understanding that you have value, but also in the same time, you know, being humble. Being, I mean, a lot of people, and the way I love the way that you said that, it wasn't with an air of arrogance or anything of that nature. It was just straight. It was just all humility. Just like, here's, I got another one, but I'm not going to prop myself up about it. It's just, and I like I like your level headed approach to it, because most people would, if they got signed to another deal, they get the big head and be like, I'm the shit right now," and I'm like, dude, you just signed another deal. You just signed a deal. I mean, what's the big deal?
For
I mean,
me,
and
I don't want it to be taken away. Like I
exactly.
really believe in God. and I don't want it to be taken away. Just as easy as it was given, it can be taken away by me being boastful, cocky, arrogant, and it's a good feeling. Don't get me wrong, but I'm still gonna be humble about it, and I'm gonna be appreciative. If I'm too humble, hey, sue me. But I don't want it taken away. And like I said earlier, if I don't pray about stuff, things don't happen the way that they should. And if
Mhm.
I'm not humble, I've had it happen. If I'm not humble and if I am braggadocious, um, it does get taken away. Or then something difficult happens. It's a struggle. It's something that happens to kind of whip me back into, okay, now I'm giving you these things, but calm down, you know?
Got you.
So
But at the same time, it does speak to you being a good steward over yourself, and
thank
also
you.
understanding your career path and your career understanding your career path and understanding that these things are in alignment with your ultimate goals.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't look at things in that manner. And I said this on a couple of podcasts before, that we can be good stewards over the things that we have, which is all well and good, but are we good stewards over ourselves when it comes to our wants, needs, and the goals we want to reach? If we're not good stewards over ourselves, then we're never going to be able to reach whatever pinnacle that we're trying so hard to get at. And that mountain that we're trying to climb becomes much harder to climb, because we don't have a path to which way we can climb, and we don't know if every handhold we grab onto is going to be a safe one for us to grab onto, or we're going to slip and fall. And in most cases, when we slip and fall, it's usually where that's usually a singular affair. No one's going to be around to pick us up when we fall, because we got to dust ourselves off and get back to it. But I like how I love your humility in it, and I love how you embrace the humility and not looked at it as something that would cripple you or hobble you.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things I do want to talk to you about, and I want to have a brief discussion about, you
Okay.
shared stages with a lot of artists, from heavy hitters like Nip, Ti, Black Eyed Peas, and then also your contemporaries your contemporaries,
Yeah.
YG, JR, as well as Sugar Free. Has there been anything that they were able to impart on you to help you as far as for furthering your career?
I'm sorry. Can you say that one more time? The last part. I'm sorry.
Sure. Was there anything that they told you that they imparted upon you to help you further your career? Or was there any advice that they gave you that was helpful in you propelling you and furthering your career?
Um, I would say YG. We did a show in Las Vegas, and I opened up. It was for some children. It was like for schools.
Hmm.
It was a weekend show. They came to like a youth center or something, a auditorium or something, and I performed first, and then he performed, and he was just saying, basically, don't lose yourself in the industry. He did mention, just the whole selling your soul thing, and don't the things that they wave in front of you, just don't lose yourself. So that was one thing. Another thing was, I think one of the best things was Will I Am. I used to go to his music school. He had a music school called P.Y.T in Watts,
Oh,
California.
wow.
Yeah. And I went there for about a year or so. Um, 2010, he came in 2010 with NBC. They were like recording like a episode or something for the news,
Hmm.
and we were in there like freestyling. And after that, we got to play him like some of our beats and stuff like that.
Right.
But he was just like, basically kind of like stay true to yourself, but keep going. Like, don't stop. Like, everybody may not like what you're doing. Everybody's going to critique. Everybody's going to have a criticism. Everybody's going to have something to say, but just do you, and then that was like the year after Michael Jackson died. And I remember he basically mentioned, like, he used to tell me, like, you got to feel it, you have to feel it. And that was good advice, that he gave the class that day when he came in. And just being able to freestyle with Will I Am. Like, I'm literally
Mm,
sitting there going back and forth, freestyling with Will I Am in the studio, and I'm like 19 years old.
mm,
So I think that that was probably, those two things were probably the best for me. Just stay true to yourself, don't let everything that glitter is not gold, and you
right.
have to do what you feel. Don't get so caught up in what other people say, because you will lose your creativity. You'll lose yourself in all the critiques and all the criticism and all the comparisons. You got to feel it. So,
Mm. And you know what? That leads to the critiques and the comparisons. A lot of, and I'll say this, and you could probably agree with me or not. I mean, the I think the bar is set so high for um for women and for I won't say the bar set high, but the bar was set high. But then now the bar's low for women MCs in this business. And to me, and you can agree with me on this one or not. And I think that bar was set low purposefully because in some instance or some way or form, shape or form or another, it was determined that a woman, a female can't come with skills, can't come with wordplay, can't come with
mhm.
storytelling and things of that nature. And I am totally in disagreement with that. I'm totally in disagreement with this fact that someone said that a woman can't come with those type of things. I've seen female battle rappers eviscerate dudes.
Yeah.
I've seen that. So there's no way in hell you can tell me that that's not a thing. That's not a thing, or that's not something that can happen. But do you agree with the fact that do you agree with the I won't say that, but do you agree with the statement that the bar to me, at least in my opinion, where and I won't say in my how I think about it, that the bar is set lower or the expectations are a bit lower for female rappers as far as lyrical talent and more of physical appearance?
I most definitely feel that way. I do feel like at first females wanted to be known for their lyrical ability. And then somewhere along the line, someone said, well, hey, well, people don't want to really listen to you. They just want to see your face. They just want to see your body, maybe spit a couple rhymes. But on the other hand, what I will say is, I believe that whether it's a religious point of view or whether it's just a moral point of view, I believe that men are supposed to lead.
Right.
And men were lyrical. Were. Men were lyrical.
Mm-hmm.
Men were the ones who were the first superstars, if you will, when it comes to, hip hop, when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to lyricism, when it comes to people rapping at the parks or rapping in the basements, rapping on the corners. And then you had the girls that seen that, and it's like, well, I want to emulate that. I want to be like that. I got rhymes too. I'm a girl, but I come hard too. So it was like, I want to be like that. But then somewhere along the lines, guys started rapping about sex. Guys started rapping about pimping and hoeing. Guys started rapping about selling drugs. Guys
Mm-hmm.
started rapping about shooting and killing. Guys started rapping about misogynistic things. Guys started becoming more vulgar. Guys started saying how women should look in on the
Mm-hmm.
microphone. You have people like Uncle Luke. Everything was suck this.
Yeah.
You know? So then you had female rappers who said, "Well, now I'm gonna match that energy." Cause I've heard some songs from female rappers back in the day. I'm talking about 90s, and it was like, whoa, like I see why I never heard of you, because you talking about some the sexual stuff that you
Yeah.
talking about. These girls is saying some of that stuff, but that right there was outlandish. But women, when the guys started to change, then the women started to change. The women,
Mhm.
I honestly feel that way. The women started to change, because it's like now, well, if you can do it, because women have that thing about them. I can do what you can do. You know, anything you can do, I can do better, or I can do anything just as good as you. You know, so it's like, okay, well, you guys are rapping about it. You guys have sexual freedom, if you will, on the microphone. So I want to have sexual freedom on the microphone. And
Right.
it's just that when you're a woman, because of the way that you're supposed to be, you're supposed to handle yourself with class. You know, you're supposed to uphold your morals and values. You're supposed to protect your essence. So hearing a woman talk about somebody doing stuff to her private part, or what she's doing with her mouth and stuff, it's like, oh my God, you know, where is this coming from?
Yeah.
But at the same time, in my upbringing, men are the head, you know,
Yeah.
and you're gonna do what you feel. It's like a follow the leader. As much as women say, I can do stand on my own 2 feet, in a sense, you're kind of not, because from the time of hip hop, you know, there's debate. They say, you know, there's a woman who started the record label Sugar Hill, you know, Records, and she came out with the first rap group. And then you have the female artists that were around at that time. But the men were the ones that were really getting the publicity. They were the ones that were really getting the attention when it came to hip hop. And women wanted that. That's how I feel. Women wanted to compete with them. Women wanted to be on the same level with them. But then when they started to change, women said, well, we're going to change too. And I just feel like it got out of hand, because now it's like, I feel like women made that choice. I feel like it was partial. Women made that choice. And then I feel like there were men who said, well, sex sells. We're going to put you out there like this, and this is what you're going to do. And then I feel like there was a time or a point where it came where women were trying to take that back. And then now
Mm.
it just got out of hand. It just really got out of hand, because it's not even like you're trying to compete with the guys anymore.
No.
Now you're just, who's the most vulgar, who can be the raunchiest, you know. So that's just my honest opinion of it.
I would agree because again, you mentioned a really interesting point because initially when all this started, it was us guys that kind of that did that led the way, you know. And at first it was in that point of it being, you know, lyrical and things of that nature. And a lot of women want to match that energy with being lyrical and being lyricists and stuff like that. Then, like you mentioned with Uncle Luke, as certain things began to devolve,
Hmm.
certain other things began to evolve.
I
With
like that.
when you had Uncle Luke and stuff like that saying now is when that began to me that began the de-evolution of it in that point. But then it also started the evolution of a new generation of women and female female
Hmm.
rappers that were that, okay, you talking about sex, I'm gonna talk about the same thing. You
Hmm.
I'm gonna match we gonna match energy, we gonna match energy now. And I think now at this particular juncture in hip hop, now that hip hop's over 50 years old now, I think it's about time that we stop trying to match energy
Yes.
when it comes to that. Look, if and again, for me, it doesn't matter if you're male or female. If you got skills, you got wordplay, and you can rhyme, and you can rhyme, I'm calling you an MC. I mean, and a lot of people think that that's a low bar. And for me, it's not a low bar.
Yeah.
To say it's not a low bar, it's a high bar because again, me growing up with women who could go, who can live, who can go rhyme for rhyme with a dude.
Hmm.
That's a bar. That's a high bar to set. I mean, you know, a lot of people can't say. A lot of people can't put can't put like a Little Kim and a Nas in the same sentence. A lot of people
Yeah.
can't put a Queen Latifah or a Talib Kweli in the same sentence.
Yeah.
Me personally, I could actually put Queen Latifah and Talib Kweli in the same sentence
Yeah.
because they both Queen La can go, Talib can go. And for me, I'm not gonna compare discography or anything of that
Yeah.
nature. It's about a vibe. You know, Mia X had that. I think maybe 2 albums in the span of her career, and then a lot of other stuff going on after that. But the one that stood out to me was Unladylike, and
Mhm.
because for me, it really showed the depth of a woman who wrote her rhymes and took the time to craft that stuff, craft her rhymes and write stuff that was relevant. And for me, that's something that's missing, especially on the female side of it, but also on the male side of it too,
Yeah.
because it's missing on both ends of it. But I'm also not gonna say let's take it back to the old school, to the break beats and the break dance and stuff like that, because that era's long gone.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say take it back to the era of De La Soul and all those people, because again, that era's long gone.
Yeah. The LLs and all
Yeah.
them.
And these guys are these guys are still active to this day.
Oh yeah,
Buster
don't
still,
sleep, cause LL his new stuff lyrically, bro, he ain't lost no touch.
yeah, and Buster can still go. I
Yeah,
mean,
Buster,
it's like,
Big Daddy Kane.
yeah, people sleep a lot on Big Daddy Kane. People sleep a lot on Coogee Rap too. So,
Mhm.
but and but then people say, well, all those guys are New York guys. I say, well, most of us in the '90s, that's who we listen to.
Yeah.
Mostly New York cats. I didn't start listening to Outkast and cats like A Ball and MJG until '94. It had been all Wu Tang, um, a lot of Ice Cube, a whole bunch of um underground West Coast rap, Killer Tay,
Mhm.
Steve-O, all those cats. And then boom, here comes Outkast '94. I mean, that's when Southern rap really came to
Yeah.
play for me. But it had always been West Coast, because again, I lived in California. I lived in San Diego for 7 years, and being a Southern guy, I embedded myself into that particular culture, and look into what they were doing. I mean, and a lot there were a lot of those cats that could go too. Oh my gosh. Um, I think that I personally met J.O. Felony.
Okay.
Um, it wasn't an industry event, but I think we were at a local place in San Diego, and we talked for a while. We talked for at least about an hour, talking about his personal growth, his personal story, growth story, and things of that nature. So I think when you get a chance to sit down and talk with people, and you listen to their story, listen to where they are, as opposed to where they've been,
Mhm.
you learn some stuff. And like you mentioned earlier about matching energy, the guys were doing it, so why can't we do it?
Mhm.
The guys were doing it, and they didn't get censored or none of that stuff, but now we do it, and it's a problem.
Mhm.
And for me personally, it is what it is. And I don't worry about looking the other way, because it is what it is.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm I'm more of your thought process. How about we bring back the actual talent back to it?
Yep.
The writing, the lyricism, the wordplay. Can you craft your own rhyme? Actually, can you sell music without bots?
Mhm.
Like I said earlier, take me back to the days of Too Short selling tapes out the trunk.
Yeah, pop up right at the mall, wherever you at. Pop that trunk open and start selling. What's your pitch?
Yeah,
What's your
exactly.
marketing?
Yeah, I mean, or better yet, be bold like Nip and sell his mixtape for $100
Uh-huh.
and have somebody like Jay-Z buy a whole bunch of them.
Yep.
But it's all but and it speak and then that speaks to confidence,
Yeah.
confidence in your abilities. And like I said, you're just from listening to the song 24, I know you're someone that exudes that tremendously. You're
Thank
confident,
you.
but you're not haughty. And I
Thank you.
like and some people in this industry, or better, I will say this, in any industry that we're in, whether it's big, whether it's business or you work in corporate America or whatever, ladies and gentlemen, if you humility goes a long way. I can't stress that enough. I can't stress that enough. But I know I'm talking, and I got two more questions I want to ask you before we get up out of
Okay.
here. Before we get up
Okay.
out of here. So the first question I want to ask you: what does legacy mean to PYT?
Legacy. Legacy means to me something that is going to be here after I'm no longer here. And it's something very important. We're going to make mistakes, we're going to mess up. That's granted. That's going to happen, it's guaranteed. But if you are concerned about your legacy, be mindful of the things that you do, be mindful of the way that you move, because when you're no longer here, those things that were said or those things that were done are still going to be here, be it good or bad. So like the way that I try to move, as far as not thinking, oh, I'm gonna die today, but just thinking, if I die, what would people say? I Like I said, we're gonna make mistakes, but if I know for a fact that this doing this or saying this is gonna mess up me, and if I'm no longer here, these are the things that people are going to be saying about me. I'm going to really just watch the way that I move and just really be mindful of the fact that when I'm no longer here, my name and my work is still going to be here. Whatever
Mm,
I've done is still going to be here. So legacy is important to me. Your name, your reputation, your accomplishments, your downfalls, your trials, your triumphs, your struggles, overcoming, all of those things matter. So just when you're alive, do everything you can. Of course, you're going to fall and people are going to be inspired by when you rise. But just remember that your legacy, all of those things are a part of your legacy, and they're still going to be here when you're no longer here.
mm. That's I love that right there because I never thought about it in that way. I never thought about it in that way. I always thought that it was about. Of course, I thought about it. Of course, it's what you leave behind.
Hmm.
But and as I've gotten older and a lot wiser in this life that I'm living, I also understand it's about what you push forward.
Hmm.
But I never thought about an instance that the way that you put it, because when we I never thought about when we leave, our words and our actions, they still linger when we're gone.
Yep.
So those things that we've said to someone that hurt them, when we leave, that's still gonna stay there with them,
Yep.
because that's gonna be the last thing that they may have heard would have heard of us, or may have thought of us, heard of us. Or if we took an action or an inaction, when we leave, that's the last impression that person has, that we didn't take an action or we took an adverse action towards someone. So
Yep.
I love how you put that. So to kind of paraphrase what she said, ladies and gentlemen, be mindful of your actions and words, because
Yes.
they will still linger when you're gone,
Yep.
and they have a lasting impact on the people that they affect. Mm.
Mm.
That's some food for thought. That's some really that's some real food for thought right there. I'm gonna take that one with me. I'm gonna take that one. I hope you don't mind. I'm gonna take that one with me.
No, put it in your pocket. Take it.
It's already in the pocket. Now the last question I'm gonna ask you before we get out of here is, I look at life as a marathon, kind of like, when Nip says the marathon continues and things of that nature. But I look at it in a little bit in a different way. In a marathon, there are 3 stages. The first stage is just starting phase, to where you're just where the starting gun sounds, and you're moving and you're beginning to get your pace. And then here's the middle of the marathon, to where you're at that prescribed pace and you're moving strongly. And then you have the what we all call the finish. Now, I want to preface this by saying, when I say finish, this does not mean end of life finish. There when I talk about a marathon and the stages of it, it doesn't mean end of life. It means it could be end of a end of a career. It could be the end of a phase for you, or it could be the end of a trial or a tribulation, and things of that nature. So it doesn't mean end of life, because a lot of people say the end. No, 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 no. Not an end of life thing. But the finish is this. You're still running at your prescribed pace and you're going strong. The finish line is, the finish line is directly ahead of you, and you're moving strong towards the finish. Not the end, not to an end of life thing, but to maybe the
Yeah.
finish of a career, or maybe the finish of a journey that you're taking. Thinking about all the things that you've experienced in life thus far, and also your career, and the accolades and the accomplishments that you have up to this point. Where do you see yourself in your current marathon right now? At the start, in the middle, or are you nearing the finish line?
I found my pace. I think I found my pace.
In the
I
middle.
got Yeah, I'm in the middle. I got my breath. I know what I'm capable of. I know my strengths. I know my weaknesses. So yeah, I'm in the middle of my race right now.
You know what?
I didn't lost some. I didn't won some. I feel like this is triumph. Like I don't want to sound old, but I feel like I'm Jesse Owens when he ran in, where was that, Berlin?
Mm-hmm.
And he had Hitler sitting up there watching, waiting for him to lose. Just knew he was gonna lose. And he came out there with his confidence. He came out there like he found his pace. He was running in his rhythm. That was his race. So that's where I feel like I'm at right now. Like, I'm not in the beginning. I'm not this is not tryouts. This is not my first relay, my first sprint. This is no, like, I'm in the Olympics. This is my time, and I got some laps to go. I don't know what lap I'm on, but I still got some laps to go until I hit the finish line.
I love that. You said you've been around the block before. You're a veteran. You know what's going on. You know what's at stake. So you know how to perform at a high
Yes,
level.
sir.
Look at that. I love the profoundness. First of all, I love the profoundness in how you approach not only you approach your career, but also how you um approach life. Um,
Thank you.
you keeping God first in where you are, but also you're making sure that your eyes are always forward.
Yep.
And with the when and there's always gonna with new deals and new things coming, on a daily basis. I mean, that's always something to look forward to. Um, I love it, man. I love it. I have literally enjoyed the time that you've been able to give me today,
Me
tonight.
too.
I want to give you this one. Want to give you this opportunity to let everybody know who you are, where they can find you at, and if you have like any appearances, in the local in your local area, you most definitely announce those right now. So you have the floor. Go ahead.
All right, y'all. They call me PYT. I'm a female hip hop recording artist, writer, performer from Carson, California, as you've heard. And if you've checked out this interview and you like it, you heard the song 24, or you want to see more, get to know me more, follow me at Instagram, they call me PYT. Facebook, they call me PYT. YouTube, they call me PYT. Twitter, they call me PYT2. SoundCloud, they call me PYT. Spotify, iTunes, Tidal, all streaming platforms. They call me PYT. www.theycallmepyt.com. And if you can't remember all of that, Google me. They call me PYT. And what I got coming up, like I said, I just signed a deal for another sync license deal. More music on television, more music on movies. So just follow me, okay? Follow me. New music is gonna be dropping and new endeavors as well. So just follow me again at They Call Me PYT. Everything is They Call Me PYT. And y'all be blessed. You muted.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing to most and reintroducing to others. Ladies and gentlemen, this dynamic person right here, they call her name is PYT. She is a dynamic artist from Carson, California. Follow her on all her social media at They Call Me PYT every on all her social media platforms. Also check out her website, theycallmepyt.com.
Yes.
Her new song 24 is out on YouTube right now. There's a video on it. There's a video out right now. So please go check that out. Check that out. And then I just played a song here. It was a radio edit because we try to be a family friendly type environment here.
It's all good.
But one thing I will say about this young lady, besides being focused, the one thing that stood out with me when we talked, and one thing that she kept mentioning is that she always prays about things before she endeavors to do them. Because if she doesn't pray about it, it won't turn out the way that it's supposed to turn out. Prayer does change things, y'all. And it can be something that can lead you to a path of where you need to be. This young lady right here is to me is the perfect example of that. Any opportunity she's been given, she prays about it, and
Yep.
then if it's if it's something that God's going to agree with, she's going to run with it, and if it's not, she won't run with it. And that's evident on her path, not just her path in the past, but her path forward. And we at Trailblazer Radio we will be a solid, we will be a supporter of you,
Thank you.
of your music and of your endeavors. um anytime you got new music, or you want to excuse me, you want to talk about something, Sukasa,
Okay.
Sukasa, Mikasa, Sukasa. So come on in. Um, I'll make sure I clear with your manager first, and then we'll go that route. But
Thank you.
you're more than welcome to come back and visit us at any time. Just let me know. Just let us know when. Um,
Thank you.
you're so very welcome. And again, me personally, and from on behalf of Trailblazer Radio and myself, we wish you the very, very best in all of your endeavors, from not just from now, but from this point forward. And I also want to tell you that God's going to keep you, and He's going to continue to keep you and sustain you through all the things that you got going. And no matter what, because you pray, there's always a clarity. You always find clarity in that, and you're a person that moves with clarity, and not in muddy waters. You prefer to move in clear waters and not muddy waters. And
Yes.
and that's admirable. So we wish you the very best in all of your endeavors, and we wish you good fortune. We wish you um we wish you health, wealth, both spiritually, both emotionally, both physically, and 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 in all areas of your life. We wish you health and wealth.
Thank you.
You got a brother, and you also have a another bona fide listener over here.
For sure. I appreciate that a lot. I really
No,
do.
no problem, no problem at all. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude this episode of Trailblazers Radio. As you've heard from of the Carson, California native, Miss P.Y.T. Again, follow her on all the social media platforms. They call me P.Y.T. Also, check out our website. They call me PYT.com. And check out our new video 24. It's out right now. Check out the song 24 right now. Check her out on SoundCloud. Everywhere that you can find her, check her out. Make sure that you follow her and you lock in with her when you find out what's going on with which you find out what's going on with her. And that's going to conclude this particular show for tonight. But I do want to leave you guys with a thought, a brief thought, mind you. When we look at the path of our lives, we always wonder if something about our lives is going to intersect, or if we're ever going to intersect with anything or anyone. The way I see that is that you should never worry about if you're going to intersect with anything or anyone. Just continue to move forward. Of course, people are going to enter your life, and they're either going to make an impact or they're going to be a hindrance. Take those as they are and keep moving. People are going to get on your bus, and they're going to ride your bus until they get to a designated stop. Don't be angry when they get off their designated stop. They were supposed to get off there. They weren't supposed to ride with you for the whole journey. The people that ride with you through the whole journey are the ones that they don't have to always be there since day one. Because sometimes we mix up day one people with people who are destined to be with you. Day ones are just that day ones. They've been with you from the start, but they're not going to always be with you there to the finish. So think on this as you guys wind down on this Wednesday evening. It's not about who we bring. It's not about who we bring on in our lives. Because we bring on a plethora of people into our lives. It's about those people that remain when things get rough and when things get tough and things get tumble and heavy. Those are the people that will remain on your bus, and they'll ride with you until you reach that designated, until you reach that finish.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that in mind, folks, as you guys go through this Wednesday evening. I love y'all to life, and I love y'all to live. Make sure you guys tune in again. Tune in. Also make sure you guys tune in again with us again. Thursday night. Not sure if anybody's gonna be on. I actually might come on because I might have something to say. But also make sure you tune into Critical Conversations with my sis LHG. Also Sofa Chats with T and K, Tony Wade, and Kaiser Rodriguez, as well as T Wade to the Point with my brother T Wade. Make sure you guys tune into us and follow us on all our social media platforms. And on that note, we are going to be out. But before we go, I am going to replay. Yes, I am. I am going to replay 24 by my new sister, not only in Christ, but also in being a creative, because yes, being a rapper is a creative.
Yes.
My new creative sister, PYT. Y'all be blessed. I love you guys to life. I love you guys to live. You guys be good. And we're going to see y'all on the next one. Peace.
Peace.
24 hours. Too raw. 24. 24 hours to get it. 24. 24. Pop a bottle, pop a squat, and hear the speakers speak. Manifesting my destiny, but I ain't here to preach. My granny told me education get you off these streets. I got distracted, fell down, and hop back on my feet. I used to eat ramen, bought boxes and boxes. All that I could afford, that minimum wage profit. Had it in my house, he was leeching, not helping. Could do better by myself, rather be single and selfish. Money started coming in, grinding all day hustling. I refuse a small percent, I won't make no rich. Label me a boss, don't you label me no. Focused on the dollars, leave wealth for my lineage. Thought I would stay down, but I rose up like a rose. Makeup, got my weight up, look at me and say goes. Out front with the lace front, say what I say and it goes. How you mad at me for living mine? We got the same 24. We got the same 24. 24. All you do is complain 24. 24. Do the most, get dough 24. 24. All my ladies keep bands 24. 24, 24, 24. 24. That lace go past 24. 24. In a race go fast 24. 24, 24, 24. 24. 24. 24 hours. 24, 24. 24 hours to get it. 24. 24, 24. 24. 24 hours.
Hey, roll a blunt, light it up, let me talk my. Who else you know popping it? They got the sauce like this. Eating crab legs and shrimp with a boss. We in the wind taking wins and a loss in the bits. Where's the trip? Cause we was doing spectacular back when West B was stuffing speakers in the back of her whip, talking at house party. We kept the house party jumping. Wasn't nothing if it wasn't a CMSD function. And on that note, gotta say, rest in peace, BZ though. Jacuzzi full of freaky shake some video. Now that I think about it, I was like 24 and had the 745 sitting on 24s. Whoa, I mean, you could check the credentials. Might have reached to make a beat just to show you that I'm official. Cause you so forgetful and I'm hard to forget. Actually, me and P.Y.T. hard as it gets. So what you mad for?
We got the same 24. 24. All you do is complain 24. 24. Do the most, get dough 24. 24. All my ladies keep bands 24. 24, 24, 24. 24. That lace go past 24. 24. In a race go fast 24. 24, 24, 24. 24. 24. 24 hours. 24, 24. 24 hours to get it. 24. 24, 24. 24. 24 hours.